We're in the middle of winter, and let's talk about the winter mode on the Kia EV6. In order to activate winter mode in the car, you will need to press on the car icon at the startup screen. This will bring you to the EV page, and on the bottom right you can actually press on the gear icon to get to the setting of the EV menu. Here you can actually press on the winter mode and activate it or remove it. Now, judging by what the screen tells us, this option is a wonderful tool for an electric car. It even says that this function will maintain charging performance too, but does it actually work and perform in a real world scenario? Let's find out. Now, before we dive into the details, I will mention that at this moment, this car does not have the battery preconditioning option. You will have to go for a dealer software update in order to have this feature available. So this is the testing before any of those upgrades are coming on. Now, I've taken time to monitor the behavior of the car throughout the last 2 months or so of the winter, and here's what I found out. The temperature of the battery will go as high as 7 degrees Celsius when sending multiple sessions of Start Climate from the app. But as soon as you start driving the car, the battery temperature no longer changes. It will stay at whatever temperature it was when you engage the drive mode. So this might seem like very weird, but it actually makes sense. All this extra heat generated by driving the car gets sucked in by the heat pump and used to heat up the cabin. Also, by keeping the battery temperature constant, your range estimate is more accurate, and that's a very good thing, especially in winter. If you were to turn off winter mode and the outside temperature goes below 4 degrees Celsius, your range estimate will be all over the place, jumping as much as plus or minus 50 kilometers, and the battery will actually get warm. There were a few days when we experienced a real deep freeze with temperature going as low as minus 29 degrees Celsius, and all I can say is that the car performed very well. As you can see from the side videos, the battery of the car was warmed and maintained between minus 15 degrees Celsius and minus 10 degrees Celsius throughout the driving period. I'm going to take a quick second to remind you that if you want to encourage more videos like this, just take an extra second of your time and click the subscribe button to show your support and appreciation for the channel. Thank you very much. One other thing that I noticed in the deep freeze is that the heating needs to be constantly adjusted. It's not because the car doesn't get hot enough, but it's because the speed of the airflow, so basically the fan speed, could not compensate for the extreme temperature differences, and the windshield and side windows kept getting foggy. So I found myself having to redirect the flow to the windshield every 10 minutes or so and leave it there for about 2 to 3 minutes before being able to put it back to auto and have airflow warm my feet too. So that's one thing. The other interesting thing that I've noticed is that the power of the engine was also reduced through the deep freeze. Normally when accelerating, I could get an output of up to 260 kilowatts total, but during the very cold days all I could get was a max of about 193 kilowatts in total output. And if we take into consideration the fact that the heating consumes about 6 to 8 kilowatts hour, that it's a significant reduction in power output. Now I'm assuming this is because the battery was still very cold for full power output, but I will continue to monitor this throughout the winter and I will update with my findings. Talking about the actual range, what you could practically expect from the car in such an extreme weather is about 200 to 240 kilometers range. This will vary greatly depending on how comfortable you want to be, because the higher the cabin temperature will be, it will reduce the autonomy. Also, you have to keep in mind all-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive. So basically you want all the earthly creature amenities. It will reduce the range significantly. Now, talking about the charging speed, I have to say the winter mode blurb that you see on the screen is a bit misleading, because let's say you do everything right and you preheat the car multiple times and the car's battery is still kind of warmed up, it will be nowhere near the optimal temperature, which is about about 20 degrees, 18 to 21 degrees actually Celsius. So don't expect 10 to 80% charge in about 18 minutes like the manual says. You should be able to enable battery preconditioning before going to a level 3 charging station if your car has the feature enabled, and this will get you the battery up to an optimal temperature. But that being said, you will lose quite a lot of charge just to warm it up, and that will translate in extra time waiting at the pump anyway. So I will do some real life testing once this car gets the software upgraded with a preconditioning feature. I hope you found this video interesting, so please support the channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Thank you for watching.